Hello students, I hope you seen last video lecture. In this video lecture, you have to learn about the language as the tool of communication. So, when you communicate with the other persons like your colleagues, boss, then your friends, families, at that time you have used the languages. So languages are the main funda, or we can say the main basic requirement for the communication. So language is used as the tool of communication because whenever you communicate with your friends, your colleagues, your boss, at that time you use the languages. So let's start it. First one, most important for the effective communication. When you communicate with the other persons at that time, for the effective communication, you have required the languages. So language is the main part of your total overall communication. So for effectiveness means require the effectiveness, you have required the marvelous languages, or we can say the marvelous speech. So you can easily communicate with your colleagues, with your peers, with your subordinates, with your boss. So its communication is used as the tool of communication. So language is requires as a tools of communication. Here you see that the basic knowledge required for speaking and writing clearly. When you use the languages at that time, you have require the best speaking and writing knowledge. Means whatever you have a knowledge, whatever you try to convey with your employees, with your boss at that time, in the mindset of sender, as a mindset of sender, you have clear about what type of message you try to convey with them. Then after, definition of languages, combination of words to communicate ideas in a meaningful way. When you combination of words is called sentences. When you use the sentences for communicate ideas at the meaningful way, it's called the languages. So here is a definition given to you that the what are the meaning of languages. Then after, part of speech. Language is a one type of part of speech. Means which types of word you use when you communicate with your receiver. Then different type of words. Like take the example, when you communicate as employee with your employers, at that time you use the salutations like respected sir, respected madam. It's a one type of the use words. Means you use the word according to the personality of the receiver. Means if you communicate with your colleagues, at that time you cannot use the word like the respected sir or respected madam, but you use the word as dear sir, dear madam. So types of word is affect on your language. So whenever you communicate at that time, you have the knowledge about the their the dignity, means which type of personality person you try to convey the messages. Then after, symbol. Symbol is equal to the meaning. Means when you give symbol to others, at that time you try to convey the message. So symbol is a one type of meaning. Means you give the symbol and receiver can understand your symbol's meaning. For example, table. Then after, a community of the people agreed to represent a object or ideas by some sound or symbols. Some peoples have tried to give or try to convey their message via these ideas, via the sound, via the symbols. So it's a one type of languages. Then after, language is directly depend on the people, means which type of people's mindset and which type of people's personality and from which country people belongs is depend and affect, we can say that overall effect is displays or we can say disclose on the language of the people. Like take the example, when you communicate with the UK and US's people, at that time their communication language is different than our country. So according to the culture, according to the geographical differences, different people have the different types of languages. Then after, when you use, you reflect your personality and your thought. When you communicate at that time, a receiver can analyze your personality easily, because whenever as a sender you communicate with the receiver, at that time receiver can get the idea regarding your personality, means what type of personality you have and what type of thoughts in your mind regarding the receiver. So take the example that the some people have a chemistry personality. So whenever they speaks, people can easily uh, understand their information. Like take the biggest example of our country's personality is our Prime Minister Sir Narendra Modi Sir. Whenever Narendra Modi Sir is try to communicate with the public, at that time the languages used by them is very important. So when they communicate with our means with the public, at that time communication way is very marvelous, means when they communicate with the public, at that time they can use some words, okay, like mitros, sathidaro. So this type of words is created your effective communication. So some people have this type of personality. When you communicate the people, you can easily identify that the person have this type of personality or that type of personality. And sometime you can also observe that when people communicate with you, which type of thoughts regarding you in their mindset, you can easily find out it. So languages affect directly on your personality and your thoughts. Then after, what are the characteristics of languages? Characteristics of languages are how language operates. When you think of any event, then numbers of picture come into your mind. For example, first day in college. Then people have a different viewpoints. People use language to give shape to their experience, and if language is not exact, means exact language is not used by them, so it's create a misunderstanding. So whenever you have remember or you have think the events which you have experienced, so it's at that time your imagination and your language is affected on your total communication network. Then after, here is there are the two writers given some characteristics regarding the languages are Noam Chomsky and Ferdinand de Saussure. Are the languages is they can given the characteristics are as follow. First one, there are the artificial. Language is artificial. Second, restricted. Third, abstract. Fourth, arbitrary. Fifth, creative. Sixth, ridiculous. And seventh, recursive. So, we have to understand it one by one. So, first of all is the artificial. Means what? Language is created by people as they need it. Means people have required the communication at that time they use the languages which type of require them and which have them require and need. Okay, so it does not exist in the isolation or outside the mind of the people. Every symbol attached to the particular thoughts or things refers. For example, AIDS. So, whenever people hear this word, they have sometime they have the thoughts, they have some, we can say that they have some knowledge about it or they have some perceptions. So, human attach the meaning as they need and modify according to the changes need. According to the changes, they can interpret the words. So language is artificial. Means whenever people have require, they can made it and they can use it. Then after restricted. When you translate your thoughts into the languages, some meaning is lost in the process. Means sometimes we thought some different events, but when we communicate at that time we cannot communicate properly. So language is restricted. Then no symbols or words can transmit the exact reality. Sometimes symbols and words cannot tell or convey the right information to the receiver. You cannot find the words to express your feelings. So language is restricted, it has a limitation. Means you cannot translate all your thoughts in the languages. So it's a one type of restricted manner communication tool. Then after abstract. Language represents generalize the ideas of thinking and thoughts. For example, dress. Many types of dresses with a different size, colors, according to the occasion, different categories. So number of similar items with generalized form. Means language is one type of generalized idea. Means every person can use according to their thoughts. So it's a one type of generalized form type of tool of communication. Then after arbitrary. Relationship between a word and ideas or object is represent people speaking a particular language accept the fact the certain symbols or sounds will represent a particular things. For example, table means piece of furniture with the four legs and wooden plank. So we can say that's one type of table. So according to the ideas or according to the objects, people can easily translate the symbol to words. Then after creative ability to generate so much words every day. We have the ability to generate various words at every days. Every year infinite words are added to the dictionary. So if you see the dictionary, there are the number of various words are used in the dictionary. Then after different process to add words. For example, first one is borrowing, that alcohol from the Arabic and boss from the Dutch. Means these words are derived from the another languages. The alcohol is derived from the Arabic language and boss is arrived from the Dutch language. And our communication word is also derived from the Latin word communicate. Okay, so this type of creativeness of the word is also derived from the other languages. Then second is combining two different words like edutainment, means education plus entertainment is called the edutainment. Then back formation like OPT means what? Option or emote means emotion. So sometime they can use the option and emote word and combine these words and is called the emotions. Then after repetitive means language has capacity for we can say repetition for improvement and impeded the effective communication. For example, a couple of girls are riding their bicycles. There, the repetition of information makes a clear meaning. Sometimes repetition of words created the clear meaning in the mindset of receiver. Then after recursive to generate the number of sentence using the same basic grammatical templates. Like in language, they have allowed you to express any ideas, thoughts or feelings using a same finite vocabulary, like no limit to potential length of the sentences. So this type of recursiveness means use your words is created as the language of your communication. This man who is wearing a crumpled suit, which he borrowed from me to wear to his interview, which was on Wednesday, which was the day it was raining. Here you see that the which is a one type of grammatical templates are used for clear idea in the mindset of receiver. Then after there are the importance of the interpersonal and intercultural communications, which we have studied in the next video lecture. Thank you so much. If you have any doubts regarding the language as a tool of communication, you can contact me. Thank you.